Okay, thanks for coming in today and checking out my video today. We are going to look at the basics of a 4-out, 1-in offense. Okay, this is a great offense for a team that has one really solid big and a couple guys who can really handle the ball up front. So in this offense, it's called a 4-out, 1-in because of exactly how it's set up. There are 4 offensive players outside the arc and 1 inside the arc at all times, unless somebody is doing a cut. Okay? For this offense, what you usually want to do is have your best big play the 5. Okay? It doesn't have to be the tallest person, but you really want the 5 to be is a good rebounder and a good passer. Those are 2 very key components for a good number 5 in this offense. We're going to talk about some general rules today in this first part of this video series here. First rule, and probably the most important rule of all, is to always keep great spacing on the court. Okay, you can see this is like the general setup right now. You can kind of see the great spacing we have here between all of our players. Okay, that's imperative to do that, so you spread out the defense and we can create holes in the lane or maybe on top of the perimeter. Okay. Next thing that we want to make sure that we think about here is when we cut, whether we're cutting to get open for a pass or if we're cutting to take a defender with us, or if we're cutting to the basket, we always cut with some type of purpose. Okay, a cut should be done at full speed and you should always be thinking, I'm going to receive the basketball and try to get a good shot off my cut. Next rule, third rule here, is to never just pass and stand. Once you pass, there are a lot of options that you can do. And we'll get into those as we progress through this series of videos here. But never just make a pass and just stand there. Okay? You'll always have something to do. Speaking of which, when you make a pass, you always want to look for the cutters. Okay? It could be someone just cutting on their own, a backdoor cut. It could be someone coming off of a ball screen or an off the ball screen, excuse me. Always look for someone who's cutting toward the basket for a shot. And when you catch the pass, you always look catching the shoot, whether it's a perimeter jump shot or if you're cutting towards the basket for a layup. Okay? And the last rule I can give you here, which is probably the second most important rule besides keeping great spacing, is don't dribble that much. We do not want to be a dribbling team who dribbles themselves in the corners or who dribbles once or twice and then picks the ball up. In basketball and offense, you have 3 options with the ball. You can dribble, you can pass, and you can shoot. As soon as you dribble and then you stop dribbling, you have just taken away one of your 3 options, and now you only have 2 options remaining. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk about filling in around the perimeter. You can see here, this is the general setup for what we want to be. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are pretty much interchangeable in this offense. Obviously, we want the best ball handler bringing the ball up the court, but the spots for 1, 2, 3, and 4 are very interchangeable. So you guys can be anywhere you want to be in those 4 spots. Okay, you're going to be moving around quite often here. Okay? When filling spots around the perimeter, you want to make sure that you read your defender and make one of 2 cuts to get open, besides a backdoor cut, which we'll get into later on today in the second set of these videos. So if we were to just work to get open, there's 2 types of cuts we can make to just get open by ourselves. Okay, so let's say player number 2 is working to get open for a pass here. All right, 1 is trying to give him the ball. You have to read your defender. If your defender is really close to you like this, really, really close to you, overplaying the pass, then you'll do what's called a backdoor cut, looking for a layup. But we'll get into that, like I said, much later on in these series of videos. Now, let's say the defender's kind of playing pretty close to you, but not right on top of you. What you'll do then is you'll do what's called a V cut. So you're going to cut in to bring your defender with you and then cut back out to get the pass. All right, so what that might look like here as you go is you're going to go in to bring the defender with you and then cut back out for the pass. Okay, let's say the defender, though, is not playing that far on you. They're playing pretty loose defense then. Then we're just going to do what's called a simple blast cut, where you just run straight to an open spot here, look for the ball. Okay, so again, V cut if your defender is close to you. Blast cut if your defender is playing off of you to get open for a pass. Close is basically about 1 step away from the line of the pass, and then 2 steps or more away would be a blast cut from there. All right, the last thing I want to talk about here in the basics of the 4-out, 1-in offense is what the 5 will do. Okay, so you see the 5 right now is set up over here. We always want the 5 to be furthest away from the ball in the lane. Okay, why? We want this lane to be open for either 1 to beat his guy, 3 to backdoor cut, or 2 to backdoor cut down that lane. Okay? If the pass comes over here to 2, 5 will simply switch his sides over to the other block, bringing that defender with you, and thus opening up this lane over here. Same thing if the ball goes in the corner, but we'll get into more detail what happens with the ball in the corner later on in these videos. But still, we want to stay on that side away from the ball to open up that lane. The only time that we would not want the 5 to be on that side is if he's doing some type of cut or seal off. So if he sees his defender is playing maybe lackadaisical behind him, he can cut over to the ball here and seal his defender off and call for the ball for a post-up move. Also, he can at any point in this offense shoot up to the free throw line area right there for a pass. Okay, if we can get the ball to the 5 here, a lot of options will open up. Backdoor cuts, backdoor screens. We could also work on this like a handoff to someone coming around the 5. Lots of things we can do there. So the 5 is free to cut up there at any point in the offense. But if he does not get the ball within, I would say, 1 to 2 seconds, then his job would be to get right back down to his block to kind of reset our offense. Okay, so that is the end of our introduction to the 4-out, 1-in offense. Next time we're going to take a look at our first progression, which is our pass, cut, and fill progression.